I'm Jason from Fuzzlord, and today I'm sitting down with Adam, the bass player from the Portland-based doom metal band Slow Goat, to check out his bass rig. So we're going to be checking out his bass, his amp, and his pedal board. If you want to check out more from Slow Goat, be sure to check out their Spotify page, listen to some music, or head on over to their Instagram page to see what they're up to or where they're playing at coming up soon. If you like this video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and if you're a bass player, drop a comment below and let us know what your bass setup is. We're going to check out Adam's bass rig, and then at the end of the video, we're going to check out one or two songs of Slow Goat playing live at John Henry's here in Eugene, Oregon. We're starting right now.
My name is Adam. I am the bass player in Slow Goat. We're from Portland, Oregon, and I'm going to talk about my bass, amp, and my pedal board today. So this bass it was made in 2024 at the Fender Mod Shop. Got to customize everything. It's got the PJ pickup configuration. It's got stacked pots for more control over the tone. I turn them all the way up though, because that's just how I like to play.
What do the stacked pots do?
They control each of the pickups' volume and tone. It's got a rosewood fretboard and neck and headstock, which I really like. I think it looks awesome. I think it plays awesome. We tuned to C standard, and I'm playing Ernie Ball power slinky strings. Back here we've got the PV Mach 4. Pretty simple, pretty cheap, pretty durable. We just try to EQ it to blend in with the guitar well, so we can hear the dynamics from both instruments. Not too much to it.
You said that was a 200 watt head?
Yeah, it's 210 at 4 ohms.
Okay. Then today we're running some 4x12 guitar cabs.
Yep.
So we're keeping the volume a little lower, but what's the cab that you're usually using?
Cab that I usually use is a PV 1820, so it's got one 18-inch speaker and two 10-inch speakers.
Nice.
So it's pretty loud. It's nothing crazy, but it definitely gets the job done. I think there are two of them in the band, so we can carry it around easier without having to take it out of the practice space, which is pretty cool.
What do you think of the 18 versus the 10s?
We usually have the mic on the 18. We just like a lot of low end, you know.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good blend when they're both going, but you know, the 18's really where we want to focus.
Nice.
Yeah.
10s maybe a little punchier.
A little bit, yeah. But I do like having some treble in my tone,
Yeah,
so
totally.
you know, it helps stand out. And we have kind of a higher range in our bass tone than a lot of bands would, I think.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now what do you got on your pedal board today?
Yeah, so we start out with the tuning pedal. Got to have one of those, and that goes directly into the MXR Dynacomp, and that goes into the ABY amp switcher, which splits the two signals. It's a Twin City, and the clean signal is taken directly from this, and it goes into this blender pedal right here. And then there's another signal that goes into the fuzz and into the Morley Bad Horsey wah-wah pedal. And the fuzz is a Behringer Super Fuzz, pretty standard. And so we run those both into the blender right here, and that kind of blends both tones. Shapes it so it has a super big low-end sound, but it doesn't lose the dynamics. We keep the clean all the way up all the time.
So no matter what dirt pedals you're using, you're doing the clean blend with them.
Yeah, and then that runs directly into the Tech 21 Sans amp, which is essentially like an SVT model.
Wanted to hop into the middle of this video and point out that Adam's clean blend setup is pretty unique, and a lot of bass players gravitate towards dirt pedals that have clean blend set up in them internally, and I think this is a pretty cool approach to that, of taking an ABY splitter pedal, splitting the signal into a clean and a dirty, and then using a 2-channel mixer pedal to blend them back together before he ran back into his amp sim pedal. So I think the ABY pedal is a really good way to do that, especially because they usually have an option for a phase reversal switch. Sometimes when you're splitting a signal and trying to blend a clean and a dirty signal together, the dirty signal of the distortion pedal or fuzz, whatever it is, can actually be inverted depending on the pedal. So when two signals are perfectly out of phase, 180 degrees, we can have some phase cancellation issues when we blend them back together. If you're trying to do something similar to Adam, I would definitely recommend checking out an ABY splitter box that has a phase reversal switch on it.
And that has an effects loop on it that we send to the phase 90 here, and then that goes directly back into this, keeping the phaser out of the main pedal chain, but after the preamp, before the power amp. So the signal it's sending into the SansAmp isn't phased out, keeps it a little bit cleaner.
So the phaser's running after the SansAmp?
Yep, phaser's
Okay.
after, and that's the only thing running after.
And then that all goes into the front end of the PV.
All goes into the front end of the PV. I play on the low gain input. I also have this upside down nano big muff that is unplugged because I didn't take it off the pedal board.
Big part of the tone though.
It's a big part of the tone. It's not the attitude, you know. Yeah.
I forget, were you using the big muff before, then you switched over to the Super Fuzz?
I never actually played it live. I just had
Okay.
it and I wanted to see what it sounded like.
Yeah.
And I liked the Super Fuzz a lot more.
So most of your fuzz tones coming from the Super Fuzz?
Yep, definitely.
Then you got that on mode 1 or 2?
It is on Fuzz 1, yeah.
That's the more scooped mids one?
I believe so.
Okay.
It does have an octave up in it.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's got
Say
the
that.
octave with it.
Yep, it's got the octave up and that kind of, you know, it's a little bit unique.
I like that pedal. It's got a lot of good tone for the price especially.
Yeah, very cheap, but super reliable, and I can't think of anything I want it to do that it doesn't. I like to keep it simple and not tap dance as much as I possibly can because, you know, got enough to worry about already playing.
Yeah. So you run the compressor all the time?
Yep, I run the compressor all the time. Sometimes when I go clean, if it starts to feed back a little bit, I'll turn it off because the pickups are a little bit high output, but that doesn't happen too often.
Cool, you want to check out some riffs and maybe kind of run us through the different guitar tones that you use in the band?
Yeah. I'll start out with the tones I use. It's not going to take very long because pretty simple. We've got the clean tone. So I stick with that, and it's usually like 1 or 2 times in 1 or 2 songs where I go clean. Almost always we've got the Super Fuzz on, which sounds like this. I think there are 2 songs that are on the Common Enemy EP that I use the phaser. We keep the speed almost all the way down for that.
So the SansAmp pretty much stays the same all the time?
Yep, we've got a setting on it so the knobs don't even matter. We just have a preset. And we usually run that with a DI out to the PA at the venue, and then we have stage sound going with we have the stage sound going with those. That way we have a consistent sound out in the audience.
Are they usually miking up your bass cap also?
They are usually miking it up, but I'm not sure. I always forget to tell them that I have the out until they usually mic it up first. So
Okay, cool. So that's nice, you got the 2 different.
yeah,
Sounds
best of both
yeah.
worlds. Nice to have options.
And then you said that's the Morley Bad Horsey?
Yeah, the Morley Bad Horsey. I like it because it is switchless. I think it's a guitar wah. Got a couple things on here that are meant for guitar, but yeah, I like to keep it simple, so no switch. You know, that's where I'm at. I can play something that I use that for.
Nice.
to pretend that I'm somebody who I'm not, you know, like Al Cisneros or Geezer Butler, and have some
Yeah.
wah-wah fun.
It's got a good sound to it.
Yeah. Really I use it a couple other times, but one of the big things I do is just the beginning of the song Heat of the Blaze. There's a part in that song where I go. And that leads into a little guitar harmony section, which is kind of fun. Being up here on the bass while the guitar plays up there too, and he's harmonizing with me. I just play the same thing the whole time.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious to know maybe what some of your inspiration for your bass playing or your tone is. Maybe some of your favorite bass players.
Yeah, absolutely. My favorite bass players have always been Geezer Butler, John Paul Jones, and Jack Bruce. I think those are my big three. I love the old blues-based stuff. You know, Jack Bruce and Cream is always doing crazy, interesting stuff. And he had a really thick tone for back in the day. I think it was like 66 to 68, and he was pretty fuzzy. It sounded like he wasn't using a fuzz pedal or anything, but I really like that. And you know, how can you not like Geezer Butler? He's the best. He's kind of, you know, the inspiration for, I would like to think, most doom-based bass players.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously if you want to go down that line of everybody who was influenced by Geezer Butler, and you've got like Al Cisneros and, you know, people like bands like Church of Misery, and I really like active bass lines, but that fall back when they don't need to shine.
Yeah.
You know, I try to do that a lot. If I get the opportunity to play something a little flashy, I will, but just locking in with the song and making the singer and the lead instruments sound good is really where I try to fit in.
Okay.
And for tone, I really got to give all the credit to Dan, our guitar player. You know, this was the same pedal board crafted for the previous bass player, but Dan owned it, so just kind of inherited this really cool tone, you know, and the kind of person, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, you know, and it sounds great, and I like it.
I was listening to some of the recordings on Spotify earlier, and I thought the bass tone was really nice.
Yep, same setup here. The other bass player was using a Fender Aerodyne with the Geezer Butler EMGs in there, but it's pretty much the same setup. He had the same head. He was borrowing it from somebody, and I bought it off the guy.
Nice.
Same cab, you know, pretty much the same exact setup, so I kind of lucked out with getting to keep it consistent. Yeah.
But then what about your EQ and your kind of settings on the amp? I know you're getting quite a bit of your tone from your pedal board within the Sans amp, but it looks like you got, you got the graphic EQ. Looks like it scooped a little bit.
Yeah, mids are scooped a little bit. Yeah, yeah, nothing crazy. I like to have the high end because I don't know, I just like treble in the bass tone. Everything's just a little bit above, you know, around 8 or 9 o'clock. You know, just keep it simple.
You got the radial ABY box to split it, but then it's going into this pedal down here. That's the clean blend.
Yeah, yeah. So it goes directly from here into the blend with the clean tone, and then the other chain, it goes through the fuzz, through the wah-wah, and then back into here.
So now it's real popular with bass players having the clean blend because otherwise you lose a lot of that low end clarity.
Yeah, yeah. You definitely don't want to lose the dynamics. Yeah, bass shouldn't be the same volume all the time, and it's nice whenever I can play with different dynamics, you know, louder and softer, and you can actually hear it rather than it being a muddy fart fest.
For sure. And I just noticed you're using a pick.
I do use a pick, yeah. So I played guitar for, 10 years before I even thought about playing bass. And it was kind of a last-minute thing for me filling in with Slow Goat because their bass player wasn't able to do a couple shows. And that's just how I could play the songs, you know.
Cool.
I'm kind of working on playing with my fingers because I really like the sound, but I am comfortable with the pick. Yeah.
I like the sound. I think it gets a good punchy tone.
Yeah, definitely. I think it blends in pretty well with the guitar tone as well. Play a little bit from the song Love Like Water, which is unreleased right now. Should be on our next album coming out hopefully this year or next year. So this is a song called Regicide. It is the last track on our EP called Common Enemy, which came out in 24. So this one uses the phaser pedal, one of the only songs that I do that on. So here's the end of that song.
Right on, man. Thanks for letting us check out your gear, Adam.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. It's been a great time. Really cool working with you.
All right, now that we've checked out Adam's gear setup, let's check out one or two songs live from Slow Goat. Again, if you like what you're hearing, check them out on Spotify or head on over to their Instagram page, Slow Goat PDX. I'm Jason from Fuzzlord. I really appreciate you watching this video. Be sure to like it, subscribe to the channel, and if you're a bass player, drop a comment below and let everybody know your bass setup, especially if you have a clean blend setup, kind of like Adam does in this video. I want to give a big thank you to all the names I'm running on screen right now. These are all the folks that help support the YouTube channel through Patreon. Over on Patreon, we do pedal discounts, Q&As, occasional giveaway contest, and just some behind the scenes footage and post. Also want to give a big thank you to J-Kid, Corey, Vajuslavic, and Rustin over on the Patreon page. Hopefully you liked this video. Curious to talk to you in the comments and hear about what you thought of Adam's bass setup. Live, it sounded really awesome. So again, head on over to the Slow Goat Spotify page or check them out on Instagram, Slow Goat PDX. Thanks again for watching this video. I'll talk to you in the comments and see you in the next one.